I'm going to call to order this meeting of the Noblesville Common Council. If you'll please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Thurston, would you please lead us this evening?
We'd love to. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Ms. Lees, will you call the roll?
Mr. Boyce.
Present.
Mr. Davis.
Present.
Mr. Elliott.
Present.
Mr. Johnson. Mr. Peterson.
Here.
Mr. Schwartz.
Present.
Mr. Smith.
Present.
Mr. Thurston.
Present.
Ms. Wiles.
Present.
Madam President, you have a quorum.
Wonderful. Can I have approval of the minutes from our May 27th, 2025?
Moved approved. Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes from May 27th meeting. This is a hand vote. All those in favor, raise your right hand. 8-0. Approval of the agenda.
Moved to approve the agenda. Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the agenda. This is a hand vote. All those in favor, raise your right hand. 8-0. Petitions or comments by citizens who are present. If you are interested in speaking, there are cards out on the table outside. You can fill it out, and then you'll hand it to the clerk. And you can speak either now or when the item comes up that you're interested in talking about. But seeing no one come forward, I see the mayor getting ready to stand up, so please come join us. Mayor Jensen. Yes.
I think I'm next on the agenda, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Good evening, Madam President, members of the council. I'll be brief, and I'm probably going to preempt some people's council committee reports. Sorry. But I will just say three quick items that I would like to go over with you. One, I just try to say this until I'm blue in the face, that we have a major road closure approaching us here, and I know Mr. Boyce is going to tell it from his report. So sorry. You can say it again, because we're just going to keep driving it home. If you are a West Sider or travel east to west in the community, you'll know now that Hague Road is closed to the north of State Road 32. And here in about 3 weeks, that entire intersection will be a full closure at State Road 32 and Hague Road to not only put in a new roundabout as one of the final pieces of our Reimagine Pleasant Street project, but to also tunnel underneath State Road 32 to put the Midland Trace Trail. So a huge upgrade for that area of town, but we'll add some challenges, opportunities for new road travel maybe. I don't think I can spin it even. It's just going to be rough for a full 75-day closure of that intersection. There is detour maps. ReimaginePleasantST.com is where you want to go to kind of find that. Obviously, Little Chicago Road is a detour. State Road 38 will be a detour, or you can find some creative passages I'm going to be doing every single day coming to work as well. I might suggest you not take those two roads I just mentioned because everyone else will detour to them as well. So, going to be a challenge. Please take a deep breath and give some grace to those workers that are over there. I will let you know that we are working with NDOT to evaluate that stoplight. There were some questions as to why we need a red light there when there's literally no road to the north there. Thank you. I asked those questions. I learned something new every day, Mark. Yep. I'm sure you do too.
Absolutely.
There for about 10 days, we need to allow construction crews to cross over 32. There's a lot of dirt fill that's going to be across there. So it is really a safety of our construction workers there, which we really appreciate. But we are evaluating. If you drive it now, you'll know that it is a much longer green currently with brief red stints, and then eventually hopefully move to just full on either light being gone or fully green. So again, bear with us as we continue to learn through this process. That will be painful. It will be great when it's done, but starting in early July, a full closure of that intersection. Mr. Davis is going to tell you about the Finance Committee meeting where you heard an update on our financials and our financial forecast. I will say that we did have a great meeting last week to outline that financial forecast. As you well know, we budget every single year off of very sophisticated budget projections, much like businesses do, much like state government does, much like the federal government does. That forecast certainly changed over the past 6 months with some reconfiguration of tax structure across the state of Indiana. And I'll let Mr. Davis kind of go into some details about that, but we have given budget guidelines to our department heads as they start to craft that budget. Obviously going to be pretty slim margins looking in 2026 as we look at some of the reform that our friends at the state legislature have passed. But if you get a chance, I know you all are liaisons to different city departments. I would encourage you to check in with that department, ask some questions about as they're going through their budgeting. They're all looking for cuts and areas that can be trimmed down or delayed, shifting around all that as we try to make sure that we have a strong fiscal forecast and a strong fiscal budget that you all will be presented with later this summer. And then finally, on a very good note, I had the chance this morning to speak to about half of our G League friends from across the country. The NBA G League is putting on a midsummer summit here in Noblesville this week for half of their teams. Later this month, they'll be out in Washington State to capture the West Coast teams. But half of the G League affiliates, it's a heck of a week to be in Indianapolis actually for that. But they're all at the Embassy Suites. They're actually all touring the new arena at Innovation Mile right now as we speak. So I had a chance to tell our story. And just kudos again. So many people were impressed by the collaboration, not just from the NBA and the mayor's office, but the NBA, mayor's office, city council, department heads, everyone working together. So again, I'm looking forward to getting you guys all back out there to the arena because it's changed a lot since we've all last been there. So a little bit long-winded, but just some things I wanted to bring you up to speed with, and appreciate your time and consideration, and happy to answer any questions that you have. Mr. Thurston, I will let you know that I checked with Wawa this morning. The blueberry coffee is a seasonal coffee, and will not be back until next year. We meet at the new Wawa quite often, and all very upset that we only had 1 week of the blueberry coffee. It's seasonal, bad timing. It'll be back next year.
Okay,
That's all I got for you.
okay, good. Any questions for the mayor?
Why would they have blueberries?
I question the season. I think the summertime sounds blueberry-ish. I'm not sure, but I was just trying to get through the morning, and I settled for the cinnamon chorizo, or that, yes, something along those lines. It's very good.
That sounds good too.
Yeah, it was delicious.
All right.
We'll check you on that.
Yeah, it's cinnamon something. No, cinnamon churro. Cinnamon churro. Churro. That would be kind of gross, honestly.
Yeah, that would be very good.
Yes, whatever it takes to get through
Holding
that.
the mayor accountable.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. Please call me on my wrongs.
Cinnamon chorizo might have protein though.
It might, well. So, thank you for your time. I'm going to sit down now. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. All right, so we will move on to council committee reports and roads, and Mr. Boyce.
Thank you very much. Yes, Roads Committee met on Friday, June 6th at 8 a.m. Myself, Mr. Schwartz, Mr. Thurston, and Ms. Wiles were all present. Since I always say who's late, I normally do. I'm not going to say there was one person that was a little bit late, but they're the person that does the minutes, and they could make a fool out of me. So I'm not going to say any names or anything. So talk about roads. We talked about Pleasant Street. Phase 2, we'll be happy to know, is back up and going again. We had some problems with the sinkage of the land back there, but there's 3 crews now working on it on the storm sewers, and it is back up and going up to schedule. Phase 3, as the mayor said, Hague Road is closed, and the signal is because of construction traffic, but it is going to be going full green when it's possible. We are still scheduled for 32 to close as of July 7th right now. So hopefully that will stay on schedule and we'll be able to get it through that time period quickly. Little Chicago over Morris, ribbon cutting is this June 13th. The rating vehicle that we have go and survey all of our roads is currently in process. We do that every other year, and we are currently doing that. One thing that is different that I found interesting this year is it is also doing a sign rating. So it is going to go and rate all of our signs on reflectivity to make sure that they meet the standards, that they are perfectly reflective and all of that. And so that's something kind of interesting. Embrace Downtown, there's lots of meetings going on that with feedback and plans. Downtown Business Summit is scheduled for 8/22. So they're going to do quite a bit of talking about it. The next public information meeting is tentatively scheduled for 9/25 on that. Logan and Clinton, the street survey was conducted on 5/12, and one of the nice things was, since all of the traffic was off of the roads, they were able to clean it during that time. So that was really nice and should look a little bit better now that all of those were clean. Allisonville and 146th Street, even though it's not our project, I like to give updates. 10 to 6, probably no turns, still on schedule for opening at the end of the year. And then State Road 32, continued meetings back and forth, but no, or 37, continued meetings back and forth, but no major updates right now. Any questions or thoughts? Yes,
Any
Mr.
questions, Mr. Boyce? Mr. Thurston?
Madam President, I'll just add one thing. I did drive 146th
to Aliceville today, and it's open, and if you get off, it's a roundabout underneath it now, so you
Oh,
can turn
nice.
left off of 146th Street as
Oh.
of today. That's, I got off, turn left. So-
Okay.
And I went the opposite route. I went through, so I went around the roundabout. So we got covered.
Yep, you can go over or under in both directions. It is one lane in each direction, but open.
Okay.
Yep,
Good
it's
to
nice
know.
to see.
Anything else? Right? We will move on to the Finance Committee, and Mr. Smith is going to give that report.
Thank you, Madam President. The Finance Committee met last Thursday, June 5th. Pete Schwartz, Todd Thurston, and myself were present. We were joined by a whole slew of folks from city departments. I was really grateful that our colleagues from police and fire joined us as well to hear about the fiscal impacts that we will experience from SB 1. The mayor hit on a lot of the points. It was very timely as we're getting ready to talk through budgets, what those impacts will look like. Obviously, our OFA, Office of Finance and Accounting, is working very closely with DLGF at the State House to really get an idea of what those look like. There's a lot of moving targets in that to help us understand what those budget impacts look like. But we briefly talked through what that would look like specifically in those 3 years of 2026 to 2029, which are the biggest impacts from SB 1. So we talked through everything from the possibility of added lit to the forecast risks, and then the work that Accelerate Indiana Municipalities is doing on behalf of cities and towns throughout Indiana to help communities like ours prepare for it. So it was great. I ended the meeting asking Mr. Light to make sure that we have a session for the full council to understand what these impacts look like. So it was very helpful. I think the packet was put into our notes for anybody to go back and take a look at. But it was very helpful as we're getting ready to talk through budgets, what to expect coming forward. And then we had enough folks there for a quorum, so the claims were recommended.
Okay, thank you. Any questions of Mr. Smith?
Madam President,
Mr. Davis?
I move to approve the claim.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the claims as presented. This is a hand vote. All those in favor, raise your right hand. 8-0. Okay. New ordinances for discussion. Council to consider ordinance number 15-06-25, an ordinance for a change of zoning from R1 Single Family Residential to R3 Single Family Residential for approximately 100 acres for property north of East 191st Street and east of Moontown Road.
Move introduce.
Second.
And then we will discuss it along with council to consider ordinance number 16-06-25, an ordinance for a change of zoning from R3 Single Family Residential to R3/PD Residential Plan Development, and the adoption of a preliminary development and ordinance for approximately 100 acres for property north of East 191st Street and east of Moontown Road to be known as Bending Branch Plan Development.
Move introduce.
Second.
Ms. Steffens?
Thank you. The first ordinance under consideration, 150625, would change the zoning of a 100-acre parcel from R1, low-density, single-family residential, to R3, moderate to high-density, single-family residential. The site is at the northeast corner of the intersection of Moontown Road and 191st Street. To the west, across, is a single-family residential development in the city of Westfield. To the south are single-family dwellings on meets and bounds parcels, the Pebblebrook Crossing single-family development and a golf course. And to the north and east are meets and bounds parcels that are either vacant or used agriculturally. A pipeline easement traverses the northwest portion of the site from east to west, and a map special flood hazard area is mapped in the proposed common area C, which means nothing unless you see their preliminary development plan. The comprehensive plan indicates this area as residential. The second ordinance under consideration, 160625, is the adoption of a preliminary development plan to create a planned development named Bending Branch and for the construction of 184 single-family for-sale dwellings. Housing types would include ranches with footprints starting at 1,900 square feet and two-story homes starting at 2,200 square feet. The development proposes access from both Moontown Road and 191st Street. Proposed amenities include open space, common areas, and ponds. The applicant requested and the Plan Commission recommended approval of a number of waivers. Those are included in the staff report that the council should have from the R3 development standards. Those waivers include items such as lot width, street frontage for lots on cul-de-sacs, some of the side yard and front setbacks, and maximum lot coverage. The Plan Commission recommended approval of both the rezoning and the preliminary development plan at a vote from 9-1. For Bending Branch, they did make a few changes to the stipulations that were originally published in the staff report. They did recommend a 15-foot common area with trees preserved as selected by the developer in some of the peripheral yards. Other than that, everything was approved as presented originally at the May 19th commission hearing. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Any questions of staff?
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Do the presenters have anything that they would like to share?
Just a couple things to add since we were in front of you last for introduction. As staff indicated, the recommendation of the Plan Commission was 9-1 to support both of the rezone and the PD request.
John, could you introduce yourself just for the record?
I apologize.
Thanks.
John Dobashewitz with Land Use Professional with Nelson and Frankenberger. We represent MI Homes. Jonathan Isaacs with MI and other members of the development team are here in the event that I can't need assistance in addressing your questions. The item that was requested by the council at introduction was with regard to rental restrictions. Those have been provided to staff and the council's attorney. If you have questions about those are identical to, not similar to, but identical to commitments on past residential, single-family that's been in front of the council over the last 12 months. With that, be glad to address any additional questions the council has. Would respectfully request adoption consideration on the matter.
Questions of the presenter?
I have
Mr. Smith?
two quick questions for clarification. The darker green areas, that's preservation of trees that are already there, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Thank you. And then it was unclear in the packet that we received, when it was talking about front porches, it had both required and not required in the packet. I just wanted to make sure when it went through ARB, that was talked about, correct?
It was, and that is addressing the idea that not all homes will have a front porch, but when they do have a front porch, those front porch standards would apply.
Okay, awesome, thank you.
Mr. Jabashewicz, can you remind me the squares that are on the drawing?
The squares identify at ARB, it was requested of us to provide additional architectural enhancements to those homes, all the ones along the perimeter streets, both Moontown and 191st Street, as well as corner lots. So you'll see enhancements to those that are more visible from the public as they drive the neighborhood.
Thank you very much.
That's something we've been requiring of every subdivision for several years.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ayers.
Mr. Thurston?
Yeah, Madam President, just a question. From the time it was at Planning Commission to now, any changes at all?
Only to reconcile the Plan Commission's recommendation with the ordinance in terms of the stipulations that staff identified.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else?
Madam President, just a comment before we move further. So, at Planning Commission, and I was in support of Planning Commission, but I did also ask that we might consider a little bit of density, a change in density before it came to council. Also, to consider maybe a little bit more green space throughout the development, not just up in the front. Was hoping to see something like that before it came here, but just wanted to make that comment.
Madam President, I'll echo his statement.
Is that, yes, Mr. Elliott?
Do you have the lot plan, or like where the houses would fall on the lot?
There isn't necessarily a plot plan
Okay,
of each individual lot.
okay. And I think from the density perspective, that was probably more of my concern, was that just in going through some of the plans, there are about 4 or 5 lots that, as a real estate agent, seem unsellable to me. But, you know, everybody needs a home, I understand that. Perhaps some people will be cool with, like, no backyard. But that was one thing that I did notice in this, is that a few, there are probably 5 to 7 that are a little rough, that seem like we're really squeezing them in there. So just an observation, but I like the green space and I like the ponds throughout the community, so.
Any other questions or comments?
Madam President,
Mr. Davis?
I move to approve ordinances number 15-06-25 and 16-06-25.
Second?
It has been moved and seconded to approve ordinances number 15-06-25 and 16-06-25 as presented. This is a roll call vote.
Mr. Boyce?
Nay.
Mr. Davis?
Aye.
Mr. Elliott?
Aye.
Mr. Peterson?
Aye.
Mr. Schwartz?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Thurston?
Nay.
Ms. Wiles?
Aye.
6 aye, 2 nay, the ordinances are approved.
Thank you.
Thank you. We will move on to council to consider ordinance number 17-06-25, an ordinance for a change of zoning from R1 Single Family Residential to R3 Single Family Residential for approximately 93 acres for property north of State Road 32, east of Little Chicago Road, and west of Mill Creek Road.
Move to introduce.
Second.
And then council to consider ordinance number 18-06-25, an ordinance for a change of zoning from R3 Single Family Residential to R3 PD Residential Plan Development, and the adoption of a preliminary development plan, an ordinance for approximately 93 acres for property north of State Road 32, east of Little Chicago Road, and west of Mill Creek Road, to be known as Montclair Plan Development.
Move to introduce.
Second.
Stephens.
Thank you, Madam President, members of the council. The first ordinance under consideration is another change of zoning. Change the zoning of the subject parcel shown on the screen from R1, low-density single-family residential, to R3, moderate to high-density single-family residential. All told, this is an area of approximately 93 acres. So 93 acres outlined here. The site is adjacent to Little Chicago Road on the west and Mill Creek Road on the east, approximately 3/4 of a mile north of State Road 32. To the west, across Little Chicago Road, is Pebblebrook Subdivision and Golf Course. To the east, across Mill Creek, are single-family and agricultural meets and bounds parcels. To the north are single-family and undeveloped meets and bounds parcels and a CenterPoint Energy facility, just this long, skinny lot there. To the south are the Promenades Woods subdivision, Promenade Woods open space, and single-family meets and bounds parcels. This is the applicant's proposed preliminary development. The comprehensive plan indicates the western portion of the subject site as infill residential and then the remainder as residential. The second ordinance, 180625, under consideration is the adoption of the preliminary development plan to create the planned development called Montclair for the construction of 136 single-family for-sale dwellings. Housing types would include ranches with footprints between 1,900 and 2,700 square feet, and two-story homes with footprints of 2,200 to 3,800 square feet, some with basement options, and all with side load garages. The development would have access from both Little Chicago Road and Mill Creek Road. The applicant requested and the Plan Commission granted at the May 19th Plan Commission hearing a number of waivers to the R3 development standards, including street frontage for lots on the cul-de-sac, front and side yard setbacks, and maximum lot coverage. There were a couple of engineering-related waivers that were requested that were also granted. In addition, at the Plan Commission meeting, there was a concern raised about flooding near the site, and so additional stipulations were required, designing to the channel protection volume criteria. Additionally, some additional landscape along Mill Creek and revised landscaping along the Carter property, which is this piece of property that will be surrounded by the proposed Montclair development. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions that the councilors may have.
Any questions of staff?
Amy, I just had one question, if it's okay, Madam President. One of the stipulations or the conditions was on the length of the cul-de-sac, and I'm particularly the one kind of in the upper northern, I guess to the upper left corner of the drawing. Was there any kind of, this is the original drawing, right? That hasn't been modified to shorten that cul-de-sac. Maybe John can answer that, but this is the original one from the packet, is that right?
This is the one from the ordinance that's in front of the council, correct? This is the one.
So that does show the short.
Yes, and
Thanks.
the Plan Commission did agree to 750 feet.
Right.
Linear feet, correct?
Thanks.
Yes.
Madam President, if I just add that, we discussed that in great detail with Jim Helen with engineering to make sure it was okay and no issues,
Okay,
just to add additional context to that.
thank you very much.
And if I may, again, John Dabashay with Nelson Frankenberger. On that particular matter, we were provided instruction by engineering to address the revision to the length of that cul-de-sac with the final development plan. It's of record, it's included within the stipulations for that this cul-de-sac would be reduced. It's by about a couple hundred feet, and that'll happen with the plans at final development plan approval. A couple of things that staff, I want to expand on with regard to the Carter parcel was that MI has agreed to extend the path, and north is facing to the top of the screen here, and at the very bottom of the screen is the Promenade Woods subdivision, and we would extend the path past an off-site area that is part of the seller's real estate across their frontage, as well as the off-site frontage here that's part of another seller to the north. The other gap here across the Carter parcel, MI has agreed to construct that path across that frontage in the event that they reach an agreement with the Carters on dedication of the necessary additional right-of-way. It may not, we've talked to engineering about it, it may not be the full 50-foot half, it could be a 30-foot half where the path gets a little closer to the street to accommodate some tree preservation across their frontage that they were concerned about. But that's really an enhancement, I think, that adds a lot of value for folks. When we had our neighborhood meeting, safety was one of the considerations of pedestrians in particular, and this would connect State Road 32 all the way north to State Road 38 along the west side with path on the west side of the street. So that's really a big effort for not only this neighborhood, the Mill Grove neighborhood, Promenade Woods, and the other Mill Creek subdivision development on the east side of the street. And we felt like that was worthy of noting. Another item is with regard to the homes in the subdivision and partially with regard to the waiver request. All homes will have a side load garage. All homes will have 360-degree architecture, including masonry on all four sides. the side load garage adds driveway length to the proposal, therefore, that's part of the parcel coverage, so we'd have a little bit higher parcel coverage, but these lots are significantly larger. I believe 11,000 square feet is our minimum lot size. So they're bigger lots, but they're all side load. That pushes the house a little bit further, closer on the non-garage side to that end of the lot, which is a setback consideration. And then the additional driveway is a lot coverage consideration that the Plan Commission reviewed. So with that, we again would respectfully request adoption consideration on this matter.
Questions, Mr. Dalbashery?
Madam President,
Mr. Davis?
I move to approve ordinances number 17-6-25 and number 18-06-25 as presented.
Second?
It has been moved and seconded to approve ordinances number 17-06-25 and number 18-06-25 as presented. This is a roll call vote. Ms. Lees?
Mr. Davis?
Aye.
Mr. Elliott?
Aye.
Mr. Peterson?
Aye.
Mr. Schwartz?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Thurston?
Aye.
Mr. Boyce?
Nay.
Ms. Wiles?
Aye.
7 aye, 1 nay, the ordinances are approved.
Thanks for your time this evening.
Thank you very much. All right. We are to the point of council comments. Mr. Thurston?
Madam President, the Noblesville Miller golf team won the sectional last night. Move on to the regionals. I think it's Wednesday or Thursday.
Great.
Congrats to them.
Awesome. So I will say that we are beginning the season of lots of activity in downtown Noblesville. Actually, that goes on all year long, but especially the summer activity. Last weekend, the Lions Club had their annual pork chop dinner and then pancake breakfast in the morning. This coming weekend, Noblesville Creates has their Hatch Fest along with St. Michael's Episcopal Church and the Strawberry Festival. So there's lots of opportunities to get out and enjoy our beautiful, beautiful city. Anyone else? Mr. Mayor?
I was going to say, it's also Father's Day. I just want to wish everybody a happy Father's Day.
Oh, yeah. Happy Father's Day, everyone.
Fishing for compliments.
And State Road 32 is going to be closed on July 7th for 75 days. We know it's going to be awful. Just have patience, bear with us, and go Pacers. Yes. We are adjourned.